Our next performer lives in my home with me.
And used to live in my home with me.
Oh, yeah.
And actually has followed me from place to place, except for one stupid excursion to the West Coast for most of my life.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. He's slightly behind.
He's a really good roommate.
I had no problem with him.
He's good to live with. He makes you food, and often his joints hurt.
He didn't make me food, but he didn't mind the mess.
One time, here's a private story.
Ooh.
One time I took a pregnancy test and it was negative. More than once I've done that, but thank you. One time recently, I took a pregnancy test and it was negative, and I am the messiest person you've ever met.
That's true.
You can. My boyfriend had a talk with me about it last week.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I know, it was intense.
I've been there. I've been there.
Anyway, so I'm the messiest person, so I just like took the pregnancy test and then I wasn't pregnant, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just like leave that on my desk. So that's where I keep my things, is where I can see them. And then I got a text from Alan while I was at work that was like, I saw that you are not pregnant. But what was even funnier is that the pregnancy test was confusing. Like, the way it worked was confusing. So, like, when I first took it, I was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And he had the same reaction. He found it in my room and also thought I was pregnant. But everything was cool because I didn't want to be pregnant and I wasn't. And I have a funny roommate. Sweaty on stage. So, it's good up here. So here's Alan Resnick.
Questions? Does anyone have any questions for me? Questions? Yes. What is your question?
So what was the way that you read the pregnancy test? Why was it so weird?
There's a plus and a minus, and the minus is really big and the plus was small, so it was a little confusing. It's kind of irrelevant. Does anyone have any relevant computer questions? Yes.
Why were you looking at Lola's things?
Computer questions. Do you have any? Here. Computer.
What? Have you seen Lola's computer?
Yes, it's a MacBook Pro. It's one of the new 15-inchers. Computer question?
How many gigs of RAM do I need?
On average, you're going to want 8, but 16 is good. But let me ask you this. How do you use your computer?
I use it to, I have 3 bank accounts, and so I usually use it to move the funds from one side of it to the other.
How do you use your computer?
CD-ROM.
CD-ROM, all right, that's what I'm talking about. I got some bad news. You're using your computer wrong. Let me take a step back. I don't like that word use. Computers are kind of like grandparents. You wouldn't want to use your grandmother, but she can make your life easier if you use her properly. So tonight I'm going to say something that's going to make your life extremely simple. Here it is. Save it to your desktop. Save it to your desktop. Folks, if you do this, it's going to save you time. It's going to change your family legacy, and it's going to restructure the way you think about efficiency. But before we can tackle our desktops, we need to tackle a more basic issue. You see, there's a fundamental problem with the way society interacts with machines or computers. Does this look familiar to anyone? You've seen this before? Right, I bet you have. In the past, we had to use our hands, a keyboard, and a mouse to touch computers. That's kind of like trying to finger blast your girlfriend with a calloused old workman's glove. Yeah, she's not gonna love it. She's not gonna love it. But we all know technology is moving at the speed of change, so we can take off that glove and get some real meat on our hands. Check it out, this is pretty cool. Do you see that? Did you guys know that human skin vibrates? It does, it vibrates. Here, let me explain it. Look, check out this light. Everyone, look at this light. You see that? Light vibrates too, all right? Lights vibrate, but they vibrate in a way that the eye-brain system can understand as color information, the visible spectrum, rods and cones, rods and cones, rods and cones, right? Well, our skin is vibrating too, but it's vibrating in a way that we can't see or perceive, but dogs and pets can actually hear. They hear our skin. So I know you like to touch a little dog's head, but that passive action is actually causing them extreme inner ear pain, so you shouldn't touch dogs. Now get this! Computers vibrate too. But I bet you didn't know this, they vibrate at the exact inverse frequency as human skin. Whoa! That's pretty cool, and it's not a mistake. A scientist did that. Now this scientist could have done anything in the world, and they did that. That's amazing. But what does it mean? It means when you're working with your computer, those vibrations are actually phasing. And they're canceling each other out. So you have a vibration rate of exactly 0. Now there is only one moment in every human's life where they have a vibration rate of 0, and that is at the exact moment of male orgasm. So I sold you on it. You're saying, Alan, wow. If working with computers feels half as good as a man's wet orgasm, then sign me up. The glove is off, and we're ready to change our lives forever. But how? Desktops. 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 You guys ever heard that term before, desktops? Well, if you own a computer, you also own a computer desktop. But I can almost guarantee you don't know how to use it. If you did, you wouldn't be here at my live event. Just remember my simple phrase. Save it to your desktop. Save it to your desktop. It's going to save you a lot of time. And it's fun, too. All right. I've been beating around the bush for a couple minutes now, and you're saying, come on, get this train a-moving. All right, I'll do it. But let me ask you a question. Do you guys want to see my desktop? Want to see my desktop? Do you guys want to see my desktop? Okay, you twisted my arm. Here it is. It's my desktop. Wow. Whoa. Yeah. You're saying, Alan, I wish. But computers are confusing. And the desktop is the most confusing part. True. But if you remember my simple phrase, save it to your desktop, you're not only going to have a wicked, sweet, awesome desktop, you're also going to have a wicked, sweet, and awesome life. Here, check it out. This is pretty cool. The computer desktop is a bit like my desk's top surface, right? So what does that mean? Well, I got file folders in the computer, and check this out. I got them here too. What kind of things can you save to your desktop? Anything. You could save anything to your desktop. You could have poems, stories, a girlfriend's phone number, a bag. You could have movies. You could have MP3s, PDFs. Those are like packets. These are all useful things that you can save to your desktop. Now, this is an organizational technique, and it's kind of confusing, but the goal here is to keep these two places exactly the same. I'm going to give you a real-world example. It's going to save you time. Check it out. So here's an example. All right, what do we have? It looks like, this is an email from my dad. It looks like he sent me some pics of the lawn, some lawn pics. I'm just going to click and drag. I'm going to save them to the desktop. Just save it to the desktop. It's as simple as that, all right? That's step number 1. Check it out. Step number 2, print out a copy for yourself, which you place on your desk's top. See? This is cool, and it works both ways. So here, check it out. Look at this. I want to find a file. So here, I'm gonna do a little demo for you. I'm just gonna pick a file at random. All right. So I'm just gonna pick a file. All right. Let's see. All right. This. Oh. This is pretty embarrassing. This is actually an old poem I wrote. It says, "Why whisper when a yell can travel just as far? A whisper yelled is a whisper heard." Pretty neat. Let's see, where did I save that? Okay, it looks like I've saved it to the bottom left-hand corner of my desk. So if I go to that part of my desktop, boom! Here it is! Guys, this is so simple and it's gonna save you a heck of a lot of time. But I can see some people aren't sold, and there's a dickhead right here who's looking at me and you're saying, where the F is your toolbar? Now, I get this all the time, and I'm sick of it. I travel around the country talking about desktops. I get this question in every state. People are like, where's your toolbar? Where's your toolbar? My nephew's got a PC and he's got a toolbar. All right, enough. America, you think this country's got a fast food addiction? You think this country's got a heroin addiction? Folks, you have a toolbar addiction. Stop using your toolbar. There is room for everything you need right here on the desktop. My ex actually made this. I got her a ceramics class a couple summers ago on Montauk, and she made this. It's so her, and I don't know, it's silly, but I kind of like to just keep it around, remind me of her. I kind of like to keep it right here while I work, but I mean, it's not in the computer yet, but literally anything can be saved to your desktop. All you have to do is rig up a camera on a tub of black water. Now paint that beloved object white and submerge it in the water. Now you're going to want to film yourself as you pull that object upward through time, through each axis, axi, and you're going to get the topology of that model through times. Then just Boolean the axis. You're going to want to Boolean the axis, and you're going to want to render that model in an infinite variety of lighting conditions, and there's only one thing left to do. What am I going to do? Save it to your desktop. Save it to your desktop, folks. Yeah. I'm not kidding. Folks, if you do this, you will always have the things you need and want and love, and you'll know exactly where to find them. You never have to be lonely again. People will respect you, and you will be happy. I get a car. Listen up. I'm not kidding. This is true. If you don't have computer skills and desktop skills, well, you can get out of my office, because you're not getting that job. You could say bye-bye to your kids, because they're going to be living on their desktops. Mark my words, in 1 year's time, people will literally be talking to their computers. In 2 years, little kids are going to walk around with goggles so powerful, they're never going to need to come home. And in 3 years' time, people will literally be touching their computers. And oh yeah, did I forget to mention they're going to be so small, they're going to fit on a piece of breakable glass? And then at the end of the month, I kind of like to just clean it off. It's an organizational technique. Thank you so much. Good night.